Hey crafters, welcome to Paulette's Pretty Paper Crafts. On October 20th, this is what I colored really fast, and I thought that I could get by with this, and I was so proud of myself for just skipping through and quick coloring. But the longer this laid in the kitchen, because that's where I just colored like 5 or 10 minutes, and then I needed to cook supper, and I took it with me downstairs to make my photo and thought I would hurry and make my post. But the longer it laid in the kitchen, the more unsatisfied I was with it. This is a really interesting stamp set from Stampin' Up called Zoo Review. It's got these beautiful, very realistic, but a little bit sketchy drawings of some, real animals. And I really like it. When I get a new stamp set like that, I sit down and I stamp it out a whole bunch and just sit down and color. It's very relaxing. It's very fun. And then later I can come back with some dies and cut these images out, or I can cut close around them and arrange them on a card. It does kind of twofold for me. It lets me try out the stamp set and make sure that it's okay. And it lets me just color. When I have such a hard time choosing my stamps because I want things that are eternal or timeless. I don't want trendy stuff that's going to go out. I want stuff that I can use and use and use for years to come, because for me it's an investment. And then it also gives me some artwork if I'm pinched for time and don't have time to create a card. I've got these pre-colored images, and if I go ahead and cut them out, I have a nice little recollection storage drawer unit thing, and I have these little cutout images in there. Either that, or I've also got boxes of this kind of stuff on these pages where I've colored a few and not finished the rest. So I can just flip through there, find what I want, and hurry and make a card. Okay, so here are these little giraffes, and I just picked a nice variety of some kind of brown and golden colors. So let's take a look. E27, E35, E70, E99, and Y28, which is really, it's in the yellow. It's called Lionette Gold. I'm keeping this in my brown category because I got it specifically for animals. And so I thought I was doing so good, and I can't even tell you what I started out with. Probably this baked clay, because it's been so many days. And I just did this and filled in just very haphazardly some of these dots. Giraffes are one of the most beautiful animals on the planet. And I wish I still had some photographs on my iPad, but I don't think I do. Okay, super easy, right? Super easy. I think I took the E70 and went around some of these other areas. And definitely I went outside the body. No, it looks like I probably did that with the E35. I think this is the color I come back and put on the legs. But that is a really nice thing about some of these colors. You can just layer and add and do whatever it is that you want. Let's take some E35. We had an amazing trip to the zoo last summer, and with Uncle Bill and Aunt Kayla, and then Aunt Kayla died in the spring. But the giraffes, I am so amazed by them. And at our zoo, at Dickerson Park Zoo, sometimes we have babies. And so there's quite a few giraffes at our zoo, and they all have unique patterns. Every single one of them. No two are alike. So here I have snapped some photos of my photos with my iPhone on my computer. And these are not that great, but we have a feeding station at Dickerson Park Zoo, and then you can go inside where the giraffes come inside and just see how beautiful some of these are. Now this giraffe to the right is my very favorite. He has super dark spots. So, not really. I'm just playing around. I know that we need some kind of shading back in here behind the legs and under the belly a little bit. Now, after looking at those photos, my giraffes really were pretty much spot on. They're very pale in between these dots, but you know, I don't always look at a photo when I'm coloring. I'm coloring for the enjoyment of coloring. And this is the E99 baked clay. That's one of my new browns. And just really liked that for the shading. And this is just a great masculine stamp set. Katie will request masculine stamps from me. And then I went back in with some E35 and dotted over the eyes and just touched up any places that I thought needed some E35 just to help make that a more realistic stamp. Now, it looks like I went back in here with this E35 and went over some of these to kind of tone down that E99. But still, you know, at the time I actually did these other ones, I was like, oh yeah, I'm growing, I'm advancing, because I'm one of those weird people that I feel like the whole image needs to be filled in. I can't hardly leave white space. I just, for whatever reason, I can't make myself do that. It feels too incomplete to me, and I don't know why that is. That's just how it is. But I've decided that probably I should have brought in some yellow. And let's just do, this is Y13. Let's just go over. And this may not be dark enough. But let's just put this over some of these other colors and see what happens. Because the giraffes are these beautiful golden... Yeah, I just don't know that I think that's dark enough. But I was afraid I've only got a very limited number of yellows in my Copics. And yeah, I think that's better. It's not bad. I have this Y13 and I have Y18, and then I have that Y28 that looks more like a gold. Yes, I'm liking that much better. And let's just compare that. Just compare it to the one without any yellow. You know? So, you know, do what seems right to you. And that's the cool thing about Copics, is that they just blend and work really beautifully together. The nature of them being the alcohol marker. And you can just keep working on stuff. And I could probably, let's just go ahead and pull that Y18. And really the only other yellows I have are, I've got, of course, the Bic yellow, this Y32, but I was afraid it was too much in keeping with the browns, or too neutral. Let's just richen up a few areas here. And if you get outside the lines, that's okay. I'm thinking not the whole animal, but... And I think I deepened the back legs on that other one, but... But again, that's just, you can just keep messing around and layering and adding, you know, those shoulders there, really probably do in that hip area. I am very happy with these now. I think they're okay. I don't think I need to mess with them anymore. Y32 or E70. Let's just horse around a minute since this didn't take very long. And I could do, because I was a little sloppy there on some of those, and that one did get outlined a little bit already. And you can take some of these lighter markers and outline. If you want to put some I kind of like that. It fills in a little bit of a shadowy area. And if you were outside the lines, so there's what it looks like with the E70, and obviously you could come back in and you could do a little bit with some grass. Let's take the Y32. I'm just going to go around this one with the Y32. You know, when I'm doing, there's a motorcycle that Stampin' Up! Has too. And I use it on a lot of my guy cards, and it's got a lot of extra space in between the motorcycle wheels and stuff. And if I'm watercoloring, there's this really nice beige in the Crayola washable kids markers. I've really used it up, and I've refilled it with a Stampin' Up! Crumb Cake ink, but I like to take that because it's such a light color and fill in all that white space so that I don't have to cut out in between, and I just really like it. It goes ahead and dulls down the white space so that it's not so bright and stark. There we go. There's a couple that have been outlined and just gives a little bit of a shadow. I think I like this one better, the E70, better than the Y32, but you know, for some fast coloring, not bad. Not bad at all. So a little bit of a recap. Copic coloring on the pizza box, which was not a great idea because the ink on this box stained my Copic markers, so be sure and watch out for that. I did waste a lot of time this month kind of doing my own thing. I created artwork for my homemade stamps, and I spent way too much time on that, and I ended up not even sharing that because I felt like I already shared the stamps, so I probably shouldn't go back and share that I created artwork for them. The doorbell ringer, one thing I read recently was you should not use your Copics on unglazed or untreated ceramic, so there's another thing to watch out for. But this did turn out really beautiful, and I love it. It goes really well with my fall stuff for my front porch. Here is another project that's taken up a lot of my time, a chalk paint refurbished cabinet for Katie to display in her kitchen. I'll be sharing a photo montage on that shortly. Our 8-month-old grandson has 2 bottom teeth, and he's been working so hard on 2 top teeth with a little ear infection. So it's been a really hard month. And our 3-year-old granddaughter, who you will hear in the background of so many of my videos because she lets Nana craft while she plays. And then this little darling, Nellie, a Chihuahua that our son brought to us when we had to put Sadie down in April after those many deaths in our family. And she was locked in a crate and didn't know anything about going outside at all. It's taking her all of April through October to enjoy being outside, learning to be loved, and being allowed just to be a little dog. So that's been really hard as well. So I hope you guys had fun. Be sure and subscribe to Kathy Racoosin's blog and watch for her pop-up challenges. I know it's the end of the 30-day for October, but she's going to be doing some little short pop-up challenges. So thank you for joining me. Be sure and come back soon.